Hello, hello, hello. Hello, good morning. My computer just told me it's 10 o'clock. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Got the thumbs going. Hi, thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. And if someone can let me know that you can see and hear me, I would really appreciate it. Sometimes the chat acts kind of weird here, so if you comment and I still don't see it, just keep on going. I'm not sure what that means. Engage with your audience. Okay. So, today's going to be just an open discussion. Um it most if you've been around or seeing these live streams for a while, I tend to try to have a topic of the day, talk about that, my thoughts on it, or my experiences, or my information I've learned, and then about halfway through, turn over to comments. But I like the idea of the conversation coming from you guys. So, okay, I'm going to switch this because I'm not seeing anyone talking. That might just be okay. Maybe that's just the way it is. So the topic is whatever you guys decide to talk about. And I'm going to type here. This happened 2 weeks ago. I couldn't see any of the chats, which will make this difficult. Oh, good. Hello from Pennsylvania. See and hear. Technology gets kind of funky sometimes. Oh, hello. Thank you very much. All right. So today's topic is whatever you guys want. You can ask me anything about my experience. You can ask me if I've learned anything, and I'll share my knowledge such as it is. But I want to hear about y'all's experiences and asking each other questions and offering each other pro tips or beginner tips. Before we get into that, for those of you who are uninitiated, I will share with you how I learned and how I've practiced the ketogenic protocol for now over 11 and a half years. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. Total carbs, not net carbs. Why? Because net carbs means more carbs. Enjoy fatty sources of protein. And if you want, and not required, you know, limited amounts of full fat dairy, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables, but you don't have to eat dairy or vegetables. Don't eat if you're not hungry. It's a bugaboo for many of us. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. And then I've added, be patient and persevere. That's it. Now, you can certainly find out a whole lot more technical information, and you can certainly see influencers peddling products and items and supplements, and I don't do that, and I don't use them. Never have done, never have needed to. I do have a keto mojo that I will once a week test my blood glucose and my beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the blood measure of measuring ketone bodies. And if I like the keto mojo, but I use it. And if you go to my blog and you click in the sidebar, you'll say Keto Mojo. If you click on that and get some supplies, I will get a little affiliate taste on that, like $1.14 a month. But I do like the product. But you don't need to buy anything. You don't need to test your blood or your urine. You don't need supplements. There's certainly nothing you can eat that will kickstart you into ketosis. It's not what you put in your mouth, it's what you don't put in your mouth. It's not the fat that you consume, and this is not a high-fat diet. It's the carbs that you don't consume. Lay off the carbs, lay off the excuses. All that supplement stuff and peddling and influencers. I will sell you a zippy top or a mug or a sticker or, whatever all day long. But you don't need any of those things to be 100% successful at the ketogenic protocol. So that's how I learned it. That's how I've done it. My health is, as far as by any measure that I have, my health is excellent. Blood sugar, pristine. Blood pressure, pristine. Triglycerides, quite low. HDL, quite high. Energy, good. Sleeping better, all that stuff. And I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess for 30 years. You can go to my blog, caseydurango.com, link below, and see some photos from my previous self. And you can read stories. I write a blog post every Monday, and I have, tens and tens of readers. It's a joke. So there we go. Now, having said that, let me jump in. Oh, I'm so glad to see all the comments here. Sometimes it's like if you throw a party and nobody shows up. Sometimes it's a way of you feel. All right. Jojo Sando, hello from PA, and Kathy Collins. Good morning, lovely lady. Well, thank you very much. Oh, and if you see on the things, little purple crown with the number 1, YouTube does this. I don't do this. That's the most active commenter on today's live stream. Kathy Collins is the second most active commenter. Terry Hubbard writes, I'm loving my keto lifestyle and the health benefits I'm experiencing. Kathy, I would love for you to share those because this is an open discussion. Terry Hubbard, good morning, all from Chicagoland. Cling to, quote, it's easier to keep going than to start over when things get tough. That's the truth. That is the truth. Kimberly Reed, generous soul. Besides keto, what kinds of things do you take? What kinds of things do you do to take care of yourself? Excellent question. Thank you for the question, Kimberly. I will come back to that. If I forget, remind me. But I do want to acknowledge everyone that's here because this is an open forum type of day. Kathy Collins, Terry, so true. My family finally understands my health journey. Understand my health journey. You must be British. Lori Morris, I see Casey going strong to help people. Rock on, keto or carnivore. You won't regret it. Thank you very much. And Kathy Collins, friends, give Casey a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Betty Lookabog, good morning from Ohio. I appreciate that. The thumbs up and the subscribe. And I have patrons who are here in a private support group, and all that stuff is fantastic. And I do have a little goal set for today. This is another YouTube thing that they implemented, and I'm gonna, so if you look, there's a goal. We have 0 out of 5 so far. I've set a goal of 5, whatever they are, super chats or 5 somethings towards the goal, and of $2. And if I get 5 out of 5, I will make a what we ate today video, which I haven't done in a long time. Thank you for the heart floaties. Just trying to earn my keep, y'all. All right. So the first question I've seen, the only one so far, is what other kinds of things do I do to take care of myself? This is a very good question because ultimately I started this for my health. I'd given up on the cosmetic piece. I'd given up on losing weight and appearing smaller and fitting into cuter clothes. Given up. I tried and tried and tried. The summer of the triathlon, I'll move more, eat less. I did that for years. Move more, eat less, low fat. I started in the year 2000, the world's most beautiful spreadsheet that I still have going. It's been through iterations of Windows 95, 97, Windows whatever. Now I'm at Office 365. Trying to track everything. This was long before there was an iPhone or apps or a MyFitnessPal. I tracked it all, trying to keep my carbs to 60% of my intake and fat to only 5%, and the rest protein, and getting my mets in and calculating my BMR, basic metabolic rate, and my activity calories and all that stuff. But it was mostly towards wanting to lose weight. So I didn't feel so fat and so conspicuous and so gross and unattractive and unlovable. All the things that come with that when you have a low opinion about yourself in that regard. I have not had a low opinion about myself in other areas. It's possible that I've had an inflated opinion about myself in other areas, undeserved. But the only one I really felt bad about myself was my physical appearance. And that is pretty shallow, but I think it's pretty understandable, and it's kind of the way things go. So anyway, I started this for my health. I'd given up on losing weight. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. I knew this was going to happen. I've said before, I don't say this as any kind of badge of honor. It's just a fact. I've been diagnosed and treated for cancer 3 times over the course of, I don't know, can't remember because it doesn't, I don't look at myself as a cancer survivor. I'm more of a cancer participant over the course of about 15, 17 years. And somehow I found that easier to take emotionally and an easier thing to explain to my loved ones than, oh, I have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and I'm going to have to give myself insulin and I might lose a foot or several toes or a kidney or lose my eyesight because I'm a big fat cow. Now, the two don't necessarily have to go together. Not every overweight or obese person has type 2, and not every person with type 2 is overweight, but they often go together and they are equated in many minds. So I gave that up. So I wanted to do it for health. I didn't want to feel the way I felt anymore physically. I didn't want to feel that way. I felt pretty low down. So in addition to this, what has happened, it's kind of been something that has rolled along with the feeling better, because not only did I lose weight, but that was a gradual process. I was not a front of the magazine type of weight loser on this protocol, but I felt better almost immediately. And frankly, maybe that should be on the front of the magazine. How much better we feel, joints not hurting, mood regulated, not having to take an afternoon nap, not breaking out in a rash, not having acid reflux, ulcerative colitis, which I had chronic ulcerative colitis, gone. Maybe that should be the front of the magazine, along with all the people who've come off of medications. But anywho, I felt better. So when you feel better, you find it easier to move around, and I became quite energized about other aspects of my life. So what do I do now after 11 years? Thank you for the question, Kimberly. Well, I continue on with a spreadsheet. Now I have several spreadsheets that have morphed into habit trackers, things that I want to do, incorporate into my life. Some of them are physical, resistance training. And those of you who are patrons know my history with my total gym and my resistance training, and how that has waxed and waned. But I am striving towards that. And different things for my spiritual self, for my mental well being. I have moments of anxiety. There is no particular reason I should feel anxious. My life is pretty good now. Life is stressful, can be anxiety inducing. That's just kind of a chronic state of affairs with life, right? Then we have acute situations that can make us anxious. So I deal with that, and I have a couple of unique circumstances in my personal life. We all have something. But I work on addressing the anxiety and getting in front of it, and addressing it in cognitive therapy, if you will. Enhancing my intellect. So I have these things that I do, and they're all mind, body, spirit, if you want to go there. I strive towards feeling better in my mind, my body, and my spirit. I do take, when we remember it, teaspoon of cod liver oil in the morning. I can put a link to the brand we use from Amazon below, for the vitamin D, and I think it's DHA, I can't remember, but it's high, and it's, very simple. And the rest is mind, body, spirit. So I do these things. And one of the things I do is I continue on talking to you guys. We all need a reason to feel like we're moving forward in our lives rather than treading water. And I felt like I've been losing the battle at treading water before. You might hear stuff in the background. For those of you who inquired, Jack, our elder dog, we now How do we get in our steps every day? By letting Jack in and out of the house. He drinks a lot of water. I'm sure his kidney function is impacted. He's 15 and a half years old and he's a lab mix. So he has exceeded his life expectancy by breed. Um, Kathy Collins writes, has your vision improved with keto? Excellent question, because some people have reported that. No, my keto. Well, I say that. I don't know if my vision would be worse now if I hadn't been doing keto. I from I had an undiagnosed amblyopia, lazy eye, when I was a kid. It wasn't like lazy eye that was really, I just had a really bad left eye. And it kind of, if you are familiar, what they would do now is they would patch the good eye and strengthen the bad eye. That didn't happen in my case from the time I was like first grade. So I've had a wonky left eye. And then on top of it, it was farsighted. And I was farsighted in general in the other eye. So as opposed to being nearsighted, where, as you get older, sometimes that corrects, you just become more farsighted as you get older. But I wear readers. I don't wear, these are just from Amazon. I get them 3 packs at a time, and because I lose them chronically. But no, my vision, I cannot say has gotten better. Again, I don't know whether it would have been worse. And I did have years and years ago, I had LASIK or whatever it's called on my left eye, and it didn't really take. Oh well, shows to go you. The things, what has improved besides weight? And I've just listed a bunch of things. My mood is regulated. I have no joint pain, very occasionally. I will have a little tinge in my right knee. I deserve a tinge in my right knee after carrying around all that weight for all those years, and then trying the summer of the triathlons and going to the gym and pound. I'm amazed my joints are as in good a shape they are, but I have no joint pain really, and that was just a tinge, and it goes away. I have no more. I used to wake up at night, uh, my with acid reflux. No, not anymore. My sleep is much improved. That's been increasing. That's been improving steadily. Uh, I would say in the last 3 months, my sleep is as good as it's ever been. It's restorative sleep. I'm like asleep. I might shift a little bit or get up. I don't even need to get up to go to the ladies as much as I used to. I might kick the blankets off because, my internal thermostat is wrecked, and then cover myself back up. But then I'm awake for 30 seconds. I used to not sleep very well. And now I'm asleep until I'm awake. None of this lingering. Although some of you may disagree, those of you who are patrons who see my morning snippets of, they might disagree that I'm fully awake when I'm making those snippets. By the way, I do want to thank the patrons who are here. There's a free trial. You can try it out for a week if you wish. If you like it, you stay. If you don't, you won't. But if for a $5 pledge each month, you get a 20 every weekday morning, I record a video snippet, topics often suggested by patrons. Even when I'm in travel status, I've done the morning snippets from airports. I've done them from mountaintops in Colombia, etc. And going up from there, you get postcards 3-4 times a year that I design and send out that hopefully are inspirational. Going up from there, a monthly one-on-one with me. And if none of that appeals to you, if you can give me a thumbs up and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And like I said, I'll sell you a book or not a book like How to Do Keto. It's a journal. I didn't bring one with me today. Go to my blog. You'll see all that stuff. Anyway, thank you to patrons. Thank you very much. All righty. I'm looking here. Okay, so I'm not seeing any new comments. I really do want to hear either questions from me, which you're welcome to ask, or if you want to share what's been Has there been a surprise for you? Did you, a lot of us start this for weight loss, to lose body fat. By the way, a saying of mine used to be, and maybe I'll yet put it on a sweatshirt, I don't exercise, I just dress like I do. Because when I was losing the majority of my weight, I was not doing any kind of regimented or formal exercise at all. I was moving more and faster because I it was easier to guide myself through space, through the air. Um, but exercise per se is not an effective tool for fat loss. It's excellent for core strength, muscle mass, emotional well-being. Some people look at their exercise, whether it's jogging or cycling or swimming or taking, walking 3 miles a day or just walking the dog, as cheaper than therapy. So exercise and moving and having a strong core and erect, you know, being erect and having good muscle mass and bone density, these are all excellent. Not very effective for fat loss. And proof that my vision has not improved. Here go the readers again. Jojo Sando, haha, she writes, and Kimberly Reed, as of this morning, I've lost 50 pounds. A round of applause. Those of you who are in Girl Scouts and Brownies, you might remember a round of applause. And Ruth Haney, good morning from Chicago. We have a lot of Chicagoland folk. We also have a lot of Michiganders, some Yoopers and some trolls. Troll, not meaning troll like in the internet version of a troll, but those of you from Michigan know what a troll is as opposed to a Yooper. I had to learn this. £50. Now, Kimberly, I don't know your circumstance. I don't know your current weight, previous weight. I don't know whether weight has been an ongoing issue for you, like many of us, since, well, forever. But did you ever think, well, I'll do this and I'll lose 50 pounds? I've shared this with my patrons often. I had, through the years, because I got pretty overweight with the pregnancy of our middle child in my mid-20s. And I just got progressively heavier straight on through the third pregnancy. And so starting in about my mid-20s, I would say, I just want to lose X number of pounds, and then it would be, just let me lose X number of pounds this year. Then it would just let me not put on weight this year. I mean, this progressed over 30 years. So thinking, oh, I've lost 50 pounds. Okay, that's like a dream come true. When I lost 50 pounds, I bought myself, well, my husband bought it for me. We went together and bought a very expensive bauble for me, because that was a big deal. Huge. Carol Petty, hello from Missouri in Jaja, Haja, depending on how it's pronounced. I have beginning stages of cholesterol. Does keto affect cholesterol? Thank you for this question. Okay, you can't have the beginning effects of cholesterol. Cholesterol is not a disease. Cholesterol is absolutely fundamental to every cell in the human body. Now, you might be thinking you have the beginnings of high cholesterol based on what? The overall cholesterol number? That is a mathematical, as Zoe Harcum says, a mathematical calculation based on 5 factors, 2 of which can't be measured. It's a better measure is to look at your HDL, high density lipoprotein measure, compared to your triglyceride measure. They are both okay. Triglyceride is not evil, but it is thought to be a little bit more inflammatory. So we want a little inflammation going on in our body, a little things that will come in and, you want to repair damage. Sometimes the little repair things, or the inflammation that goes, you cut your finger and it gets red, right? And it kind of puffs up. That's your body taking care of that cut. But you don't want a lot of inflammation. HDL is anti-inflammatory. This is simplistic. So ideally, you want those to be kind of the same number. So if your triglyceride is 70, if your HDL is 70, yay. And even after you start the protocol, your triglyceride may go up. Why? Because if you are burning fat for fuel, you're mobilizing fat cells. There's not just fat in them, there are cells. There are hormones. There are triglycerides. There's water. There's fat. So give it some time. A little bit of research will put you there, but cholesterol is not a disease. So actually, my triglyceride and HDL everything was going in the wrong direction for me. Everything's quite good. Kathy Collins writes, I find that my favorite foods before keto now make me wonder what I was craving. I now love hard boiled eggs and cold chicken. Who knew my quote cravings would change so much? It's the truth. Testify. I knew since 1977 that low carb worked for me. The induction period of Atkins worked a treat when I was in college. I'd put on about 12 or 13 pounds a year and a half after living on campus. And I got the book, did the induction period, lost the weight, tossed the book. Then I didn't need it because then I was in college in my late teens and my early 20s, cute as a bug. Even after our first child, I put on 25 pounds during that pregnancy and lost 35. Not so much on the second pregnancy. But anyway, I knew low carb worked for me. So over the years, I would come back to it. Now, yes, in intervening years, low carb was considered almost malpractice if a doctor suggested it, and low fat came into vogue. And so I tried that. But I knew that it worked. I knew in my bones. I knew in my fat that it worked. But I would tell myself, I just can't see going the rest of my life without tortilla chips. That's crazy. And so I would try. I would start on Monday doing low carb, doing the induction period of Atkins, which that's essentially what the ketogenic protocol is, the induction period of Atkins. And then, Friday would come. And then Saturday might be eating Mexican food out at our favorite restaurant. And there come the tortilla chips. And oh, well, I'll start again on Monday. Now you could put down a basket of tortilla chips in front of me. And you might as well put a basket of gravel. Not interested. It is amazing how things change. Things that we thought, I just can't do. And then we tell ourselves silly, we think they're funny. Oh, I'm powerless in the face of Godiva chocolate. Oh, it's not a problem. I break the cookies in half and all the calories fall out. Or food is my friend. Or using the A word, which I have a real problem with. But that's not the topic for today. I can tell you if we're, at a cocktail party sometime, I'll tell you my thoughts on the A word. Jojo Sando writes, congratulations, Kimberly. And Kimberly Reed writes, it's been an ongoing issue, meaning weight, since I was 20. I'm 57, and for the first time, I feel that I'm finding what works for me. Yay. And this also puts the lie to the, for women, it's easier for you to levitate off the ground than to lose weight after menopause. Now, Kimberly, I don't know your stage of life. I was definitely past menopause. Well, I had to guess at that because I hadn't had a uterus since I was 29. Anywho, or 30. Maybe I was 30. Anywho, yeah, we think it's all over for us because we've been told explicitly that weight loss after a certain age is nearly impossible. Cheryl Sullivan writes, I struggle with keeping my keto meal simple, but not boring. Any tips? Okay. Thank you for that question. I will tell you, this is going to sound finger waggy. No, that finger waggy. Excuse me. Finger waggy. We should not be looking to our food for entertainment. How can food be boring? It's an inanimate object. And for getting away from that, the food that we eat around here is delicious. Almost every time we eat something, we say, man, this is great. First, well, we always say ribeye. We could eat this every day, but you can't eat ribeye necessarily every day. Chicken thighs with the crispy skin. Delicious. A bit of broccoli with a bit of cheese sauce on top. Delicious. Cheese omelets. Lamb. Scallops. Shrimp. Tilapia. Salmon. Shark steak. Duck. Or meatloaf. We shouldn't be looking to food to entertain us. We should be looking to food to fuel us. We also should not be looking to food to help us, air quotes, cope. How many of us say, I use food to cope? No, no, we use food to not cope. We use food to divert our attention, to numb ourselves. Because it does divert our attention. For the 8 seconds we're eating, it diverts our attention. It's, ooh, wasn't that delicious? And then for the next 3 days, we lament that we ate that food and we feel like failures. So yeah, we've diverted our attention. We still haven't coped with whatever the issue was in the first place. Kimberly writes, thank you, Jojo. And Patricia writes, good-o. And Patricia writes, good morning. I just woke up. And Linda Bridges writes, I'm getting better this week from this week. I'm getting better this week from this week. Had to get back on track because of the pain in my legs. I was hoping food would help through losing my husband last month. And yes, you have shared, Linda, that you lost your husband. And I'm so sorry. Did the food help? I'm not trying to be callous. But, the only thing food fixes is hunger. It doesn't bring loved ones back to life. It doesn't repair a loveless relationship. It doesn't bring thankless children back to our bosom. It doesn't make our boss not be a jerk. It doesn't keep the water heater from leaking. It doesn't get us out of debt. The only thing food fixes is hunger. And I am sorry, but I'm glad you are acknowledging what's happened and coming back. And Patricia, who is now a number one commenter, I have a tough day today because I've got 100 pounds to pack, process into sauce and pie filling today and tomorrow. Okay, you're gonna have to clarify a little bit. Why are you? What are you? Is this for a an event, a church fair, for a big party? Into sauce and pie filling. Well, now is that going to be tough because you want to sample the wares? Jojo Sando writes, do you still use sugar substitutes in your drinks and things like condiments for added flavor in small quantities? Well, I don't worry about the quantities of condiments as long as the condiment is not sugar. I don't use sugar. Yes, we still use non-sugar sweetener, but we don't eat a lot of sweets, I will say. It's in our coffee. We also use heavy cream, which we measure in our coffee. I do make almond cookies for my lovely mate. He can tolerate them. I avoid them. And you can go to on my channel, I've got almond cookies or something like that, a video, I show how to make them. So we use non-sugar sweetener for that. I don't worry about condiments. I mean, how much garlic powder do we need? How much cayenne pepper is appropriate? I will say that my taste buds feel like they came out of a coma. They were like in a carb coma for so long. Cheryl Sullivan, thank you, Casey. Very helpful. Linda, so sorry for your loss. Patricia writes, oh dear, 100 pounds of apples to can. Guess I'm still half asleep. Well, that's it. I love putting food by. I really enjoyed it and did a lot of it before we went, you know, keto. And I have an all American cast aluminum pressure canner. Love it. And I've just been thinking recently, what can I put by that is keto friendly? But I used to do, all that stuff. Yeah, I know you can put meat, but are you putting apples by for your own use? I bet you they're delicious. And Jojo does a bunch of a heart emoji and a crying emoji for Linda. Loss. Whew, loss is tough. We have a saying around Go Keto with Casey, and I think I made a postcard and sent it to patrons because I do this like 3 or 4 times a year. The BLAST method, which is a total ripoff of the HALT method of the 12-step programs. But this one's the BLAST method, BLAST. Don't make a decision about eating when you're bored, lonely, angry, stressed, or tired. And I guess you could, swap out some of those letters. The A could be swapped out for anxious. That would be good for me. I will say that as anxious as I've been over certain things over the last bit of time, I have not turned to food. And that is a big victory for me. Huge, huge victory. I just can't imagine. I would not have been able to imagine before that I could do that. This is the thing about this. I did a video long time ago, and the topic was when I couldn't have imagined before being the size I am now. And being the size I am now, I can't even relate to the person that was before. I used to not be able to look at photographs of myself when I was large, photographs of my large self. Now I can look at them because I feel detached from that person. Patricia writes, it's a yearly event I do yearly to give away for holidays to friends and family. Yep, I often taste to make sure it's okay. And writes, and it smells so yummy, I bet, particularly this time of year. Smells are so important. Okay, just an aside here. So I saw an ad for pumpkin spice dog treats. Do we really think that our dogs want pumpkin spice? I don't know about you, but Jack is just as happy sniffing around where other animals have been. I don't think pumpkin spice would help. Jojo writes, I need ketchup on my scrambled eggs, but it's made with a sugar substitute. Well, we have ketchup. I use it for the topping for the meatloaf I make. We get, I think it's Heinz. No sugar added. We don't use a lot. And also, you don't need ketchup on your scrambled eggs, Jojo. You prefer ketchup on. Let's watch our words. You don't need it. You prefer it. That's fine. But let's not say you need it. Or you could say, I can't eat eggs without ketchup. Well, yes, you can. But you choose not to, or you prefer not to. Now, what I do is when I'm thinking maybe I want something kind of ketchupy, I use hot sauce. I like hot sauce. All right, friends, I'm going to wind down. Jack is pacing. You might have seen him walk through. And that's not why I'm winding down, but I am going to wind down. It's coincidental. I appreciate you allowing me to be part of your day. I appreciate your thoughtful comments. And those of you going through stuff, good luck. We all go through stuff. Some of it is more acute for some of us sometimes. And then other times, other people are going through the acute stuff. Rebecca Ruggles writes, hot sauce for the win. Just remember, If hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. It won't fix anything, and a lot of times it makes things worse because we have this cascading mm, avalanche of emotions after we've eaten food that we know doesn't serve us. Guilt, regret, embarrassment, not to mention bloating, acid reflux, putting on 3 pounds in a day. So, and just remember, if I can do this, you can do this. I promise you, I am one of the most weak willed, spoilt brat people you'll ever meet. If I can do this, you can do this. One moment, one mouthful, one decision, 1 hour, one day, one weekend at a time. It can be done. I'm living proof. Thank you all so much. I hope to see you next time. And maybe some hot sauce and sour cream on my eggs. Ooh, sour cream is lovely. And gram for gram, it's a lot less calorically and carb dense than cheese. Okay, that's it. Last word, final word. TTFN. See you next time.